I'm Daniza Lopez, bringing you today's burning issues and the hottest news here on Newsforce. Here are today's headlines. PHIVOLCS says still unnecessary to upgrade Mayon Volcano alert level status. NPA kills farmer suspected of being intelligence officer in Negros. Speaker Ferdinand Romualdez to focus on poverty eradication to attain nation's freedom. DOT vows to support San Juan City to preserve and promote heritage historical sites. Philippine Red Cross strengthens disaster response with new drones. Coldplay set to return to Philippines and concert details release. Fair and balanced news, comprehensive reports that will take you to the heart of the action. This is Newsforce. For today's story, the Department of Health released the latest number of new COVID-19 cases across the country, which dropped by 27%. From June 5 to 11, 6,630 new cases were recorded, and the average number of new cases per day this week stood at 947, down by 27% compared to cases from May 29 to June 4. Meanwhile, there were 5 recorded deaths, of which none occurred from May 29 to June 11. Since January 2020, 4,155,758 coronavirus cases and 66,481 fatalities have been reported in the entire country. The Department of Interior and Local Government, or DILG, reminded the public to stay alert and call on the various emergency hotlines of government agencies in times of disaster. DILG announced that disaster risk reduction must also be practiced by the people of community. Particularly today, several areas are prone to disaster. For emergency, the public is urged to call the following hotlines provided by the government. Other events, Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS OIC Director Teresito Bacolcol stated that despite the effusive eruption of the Mayon Volcano, the warning levels still cannot be raised since officials are still assessing the situation. Among the particular factors they are continuously monitoring to raise it to alert level 4 are the abrupt drop in sulfur dioxide gas and the rise in seismic activity. To date, Mayon Volcano remains lifted at alert level status 3, currently at an increased tendency toward hazardous eruption. Meanwhile, the Department of National Defense, or DND, vowed to continue to look after the welfare and necessities of Filipino veterans in appreciation for their sacrifices, which paved the way for the freedom of the country. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. made the promise during the Philippine Independence Day commemoration services at the Mausoleo de los Veteranos de la Revolucion in Manila. Teodoro emphasized that Filipinos still possess duties to accomplish after the nation proclaimed its independence from foreign colonialism. Additionally, he asked everyone in the country to explore more about the issues that the nation is currently facing and to engage in more talks and debates in order to gain a deeper grasp of these problems. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, reinforced its commitment to protect law and order as well as supporting the government's efforts to achieve lasting peace during the celebration of the 125th anniversary of Philippine Independence Day. Hence, PNP Chief Police General Benjamin Acorda Jr. pledges that the PNP will continue to work hard to safeguard and defend the freedom that the country currently enjoys, to pave the path for a more forward-thinking and better future for all Filipinos. In a separate story, a report coming from Bacolod City confirmed that the New People's Army has killed a farmer believed by rebels to be an intelligence officer in Negros Occidental. NPA command officers said they gunned down a certain Jo Marina Beses of Barangay Cambayobo, Calatrava Town last week. Nabeses was accused by NPA operatives of giving information of the whereabouts of NPA leaders in the past, which led to military operations in the area this year. According to police reports, the victim was working in his rice field when he was shot by unidentified persons with high-caliber pistols and semi-automatic rifles. As of this month, several NPA hitmen have killed 2 more alleged military assets, which now brings to the fore renewed intensity between the military and rebels in the countryside. For weather updates, according to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA, cloudy skies and rain showers will be felt across Luzon. Monsoon rains are expected over Ilocos region, Batanes, and Babuyan Islands. Meanwhile, Cordillera Administrative Region, Bataan, Zambales, Tarlac, Pampanga, and Bulacan will experience cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. And partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms will be felt in Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Coming up next on Newsforce. Chief Justice Alexander Gesmundo highlights shared responsibility in protecting freedom on 125th Philippine Independence Day. Four peace beneficiaries set up community pantry for Mayon evacuees in Albay. Speaker Ferdinand Romualdez to focus on poverty eradication to attain nation's freedom. Stay tuned for more stories and reports when Newsforce returns. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. expressed his commitment to guide the country towards a path of growth and recovery from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Here's the full report. As President Marcos Jr. lead the 125th anniversary of the Philippine Independence Day, Kalayaan, Kinabukasan, Kasaysayan, the President highlighted the significance of the celebration in the context of the nation's aspirations and resilience. He emphasized that this year's commemoration holds a profound significance as it represents a fresh start and a renewed determination to overcome the economic challenges caused by the pandemic rather than political oppression. President Marcos Jr. expressed his belief in the Filipino people's ability to rise above adversity and rebuild the nation's economy. He acknowledged the lingering effects of the pandemic and emphasized the need for efforts to heal the economic scars it has inflicted in the country. As the Philippines marks its 125th year of independence, President Marcos Jr. called for unity of Filipinos in overcoming the challenges ahead. For Golden Nation Network, this is Doniza Lopez. On to another report, Speaker Ferdinand Romualdez stated that true freedom entails eradicating poverty and ensuring a prosperous future for all Filipinos. Here's a full story. Speaker Ferdinand Romualdez called upon all Filipinos to awaken their sense of patriotism and contribute towards overcoming present challenges as a way of honoring the sacrifices made by the nation's heroes. Romualdez said that the present struggle for freedom transcends traditional notions of foreign invaders, focusing instead on combating the persistent issues of poverty and hunger that impede economic freedom. He added that the true freedom cannot be achieved if there are still people suffering, as the fight for freedom is not merely a rebellion against oppressors, but also a struggle to eradicate hunger and ensure a life of comfort. Romualdez encouraged individuals to become heroes by improving the lives of their families and actively contribute in solving the challenges faced by the nation. For Golden Nation Network, this is Doniza Lopez. Separately, Chief Justice Alexander Gesmundo emphasized the responsible use of power to protect freedom in its broader and profound essence. He expressed that freedom should not only pertain to liberation from foreign oppressors, but also encompass freedom from hunger, poverty, fear, and injustice. Gesmundo further emphasized that if power is vested in the hands of the people, its utilization should be directed towards their well-being and welfare. Moving on, during the celebration of the 125th Philippine Independence Day at the Pinaglabanan Memorial Shrine in San Juan, Manila, Tourism Secretary Cristina Garcia Frasco pledged to work alongside the local government of San Juan in protecting and advocating for the city's heritage and historical sites, as well as to develop the tourism sector in the country. Additionally, Secretary Frasco stated that the celebration serves as a symbol of the Filipino people's resilience in the vicinity where the Philippine Revolution's first encounter with Spanish colonizers took place. Meanwhile, Mayor Zamora also expressed his gratitude to Secretary Frasco for helping the administration of San Juan prepare for its intended participation in the Hop-on Hop-off tour, which will include historical sites and art galleries as tourist attractions along the metro. The United States Agency for International Development partnered with Department of Information and Communications Technology to conduct cybersecurity training among government agencies. Jade Buhoy for the full details.
The United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, partnered with Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, in conducting the third Cybersecurity Proficiency Improvement Training that was joined by various government organizations in the Philippines. The training discussed about cybersecurity protection and prevention of unauthorized or malicious activities in the network. Further, the Cyber Proficiency Improvement Training is a monthly webinar of short courses that trains on improving cybersecurity talent and expertise among government employees in the country. With this, USAID is cooperating with the public and private sector to push for inclusive and resilient economic development in the country by enhancing access and connectivity to information and communication technology, infrastructure, boosting of regulatory governance, and reinforcement of cybersecurity protection. For Golden Nation Network, this is Jade Buhoy.
Meantime, beneficiaries of Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program, or 4Ps, set up a community pantry for families affected of Mayon Volcano unrest located at the provincial campsite in Basag, Albay. The community pantry contains nutritious food such as vegetable to support the needs of the affected families of Barangay Baligang that is within the 6-kilometer radius permanent danger zone around Mayon Volcano. The 4Ps beneficiaries supply goods in the community pantry through their existing communal garden. In other news, Caritas Philippines President Bishop Jose Colin Bagaforo underlined a more streamlined and open election process for the upcoming barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Bagaforo encourages Filipinos should vote for political figures who are dedicated to defending democratic principles, encouraging good governance, and advancing social justice. The group also stressed how relevant it is to maintain the free, fair, and credible nature of the voting process. Up next on Newsforce. DENR collects sacks of waste through region-wide cleanup drive. Philippine Red Cross strengthens disaster response with new drones. GNN honors an officer and a gentleman who until his last breath was committed to the ideals of the Republic. Stay tuned for more stories and reports when Newsforce returns. The Philippine Red Cross or PRC recently received a supply of drones as part of their partnership with the American Red Cross. The initiative not only involves the provision of drones but also includes comprehensive training for PRC personnel on how to effectively utilize the unmanned aircraft in their disaster management response efforts. Secretary General of PRC Dr. Gwendolyn Pang said that the acquisition of a skilled team of drone pilots will greatly assist PRC in rapidly assessing damages and addressing critical needs in disaster-affected areas, ultimately enhancing their overall response and recovery and vows. Meanwhile, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources has collected 1,600 sacks of waste from the region-wide cleanup drive in the support of the annual observance of the World Ocean Day. Jade Buhoy has a full story.
The Department of Environment and Natural Resources or DENR led the annual observance of the World Ocean Day by conducting a region-wide cleanup drive that collected over 1,600 sacks of waste in various areas of Central Luzon. The region-wide cleanup drive was participated by thousands of environment workers, local government officials, uniformed personnel, and volunteers. Collected waste were mostly composed of single-use plastic bags, styrofoam, food wrappers, plastic bottles, cans, and sachets. This year's celebration of World Ocean Day focused on reminding the public about interconnectedness of all living matter to sustain and protect the ocean. For Golden Nation Network, this is Jade Buhoy.
For entertainment news, the Philippine Arena will host a concert by the British rock band Coldplay on January 19, 2024, according to an announcement made recently by event organizer Live Nation Philippines. The tickets will be brought up for general sale on June 20 at 12 o'clock p.m. and on June 19, Live Nation Philippines will begin a pre-sale from 10 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. through Coldplay.com. It can be recalled that the upcoming visit of Coldplay to the Philippines for a one-night concert was first confirmed by Live Nation Philippines last Saturday. An old relic of the New Republic where men of his caliber follow the idiom for God and country, Rodolfo Biazon stood literally and figuratively head and shoulders above his peers. His life, like the movie that portrayed him, was a masterpiece. A military man all his life, he stopped several coup attempts by then Colonel Gringo Honasan and his armed forces, and ultimately becoming a distinguished senator of the Republic. His public persona was one of quiet demeanor, stoic but strong, a trait his constituents and fellow senators attribute to his military training, always ready but also intellectually capable. He once shut the floor of the Senate when he asked what is all with this legal gobbledygook, to which political analysts and columnists scrambled to give light to this illegal parlance. Throughout his life, he never showed public displays of frivolities. What he adhered to was a stoic, almost code-like calculating movement that gave way to his already military nature. And just like that, he passed quietly into the night, giving credence to a famous MacArthur quote that old soldiers never die, they just fade away. GNN salutes Rodolfo Biazon. And here's a recap of today's headlines. Here are today's headlines. PHIVOLCS says still unnecessary to upgrade Mayon Volcano alert level status. NPA kills farmer suspected of being intelligence officer in Negros. Speaker Ferdinand Romualdez to focus on poverty eradication to attain nation's freedom. DOT vows to support San Juan City to preserve and promote heritage historical sites. Philippine Red Cross strengthens disaster response with new drones. Coldplay set to return to Philippines and concert details release. Fair and balanced news, comprehensive reports that will take you to the heart of the action. This is Newsforce. And those were the top stories of the day. Stay updated on the day's biggest stories and get updates on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Golden Nation Network. I'm Donnie Lopez, and this is Newsforce.